My name is Roy West. I guess I've had the best of both worlds. I taught at Armstrong for 11 years, and I'm a graduate of Maggie Walker High School. So often, the week before the Classic, we would have a great discussion in the dining hall at Armstrong, and I remember someone asked me, Roy, for whom are you going to root on Saturday? You graduated from Maggie Walker, you're teaching here at Armstrong, and when that question was asked of me, before I could answer, Mr. Peterson said, Roy, you know where you earn your bread and butter. So I knew then that I was sitting on the high seat. But in terms of the game itself, I didn't play any kind of athletics at Maggie Walker. I went up for the football team, and the helmet went one way, the ball went another way, and I went the third way. So the stretch guard said, boy, go back to class. And when I went back to class, I found Mr. Driver, who taught algebra. And as you don't know, Maggie Walker was built by the power structure to say to Richmonders, one academic high school is enough for you black folks. So we're going to make sure that you only have one academic high school, and Maggie Walker will be a trade school. But Mr. Driver, who taught algebra, said to us, you only have 1 year, but I'm going to give you 2 years of it in 1 year's time. And that's the kind of thing that the power structure did not understand, could not fathom. So the experiences that I had at Maggie Walker have lasted me right on through my life, both personally and professionally. And let me just end on this note. George Peterson, the principal of Armstrong, was a premier administrator, one of the best in the country. And I had a great deal of pride. I was sitting in the library at GW working on my doctorate, doing some research. And I opened up a journal, and on that board of directors, I saw George Peterson's name there. And I realized then that Richmond was really in a privileged position to have had an administrator such as Mr. Peterson. So once again, I want to commend those of you who are bringing this thing back together again. And let me say what Helen said just a moment ago. If you really knew what went on in the late 70s and early 80s to dismantle this institution, you would be out in the street rioting. I could write a book. The book would be a bestseller on how to destroy public education in Richmond with confidence. It wasn't a white man who did it. It was a black man who did it. So once again, let's bring it back.
My name is Ella Lee Fountain Flowers, and I was a teacher at Maggie Walker. And as I look around, I see so many of the students whom I taught. And as I go out in the community, I see so many students, and they don't have to say, are you Mrs. Flowers? They just come up and hug me. I'd like to mention some of the fond memories at Maggie Walker. First of all, the principals were very competent principals, and I was a teacher under several principals, and one of them I fondly remember, J. Harry Williams, and he always told us, you can't teach sitting down. So I would be teaching in my high heels, never getting tired. And I also would like to remember some of the fond memories. Everybody knew Mrs. Pannell, and she knew everybody and everything, as you all know. And many of you remember Mrs. Daisy Jones Gillum. And her students, her male students, had to come to school and come to her class with shirt and tie. And you should see the boys switching ties as they came out of class, just to have on a tie. And I was a graduate of Armstrong High School back in the day. And I taught at Maggie Walker, so there was a conflict with athletic events. Are you going to be on Armstrong's side or Maggie Walker's side? But I'm a true dragon. And I took early retirement from Maggie Walker. And I said, well, because of my reduced pension, I could do a little typing. I was head of the business department in Maggie Walker. And I said I could do a little typing in 2 or 3 days. But during that summer, the head of the business department at Virginia Union called me. Ellie, I hear that you've retired. How would you like to teach at Virginia Union? I said, Ruth, I'm going away this weekend, but I'll let you know when I get back. And when I got back, I told her yes. And I taught at Virginia Union for 8 years, having taught at Maggie Walker for 32. So I did a little math, and I said 32 and 40, that's 32 and 8, that's 40. Time to come out. So I came out. But as I see students now at reunions and in the community, I am just so happy, and I see 1 or 2 students daily in the community. And at reunions, I tell them, don't wait for me to recognize you, just come up to me and speak to me, because I'm always happy to see all of you. My conflict at Virginia Union was the same as it was at Maggie Walker, having finished Armstrong and having taught at Maggie Walker. And when I went to Virginia Union, there was a conflict because I graduated from Virginia State. But it was a nice conflict, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed every minute at Maggie Walker.